Have you ever stopped to question how morality shapes the choices you make? Is it the compass steering your every move, or does it feel more like a weighing scale, balancing pros and cons in the heat of the moment? And what decides if an action is moral anyway? These aren't idle thoughts. They're the very fabric of human behavior, interwoven into our societal structures. The term Machiavellianism, coined centuries ago, encapsulates a philosophy that thrives in the gray areas of morality. It's not just about manipulation. It's about strategy, pragmatism, and sometimes a stark absence of conscience. This trait, named after the Italian diplomat Niccolò Machiavelli, was immortalized in his work The Prince. Machiavelli advocated for cunning, calculated moves to gain and maintain power, a mindset controversial in his time and equally relevant today. Fast forward to our modern era of relentless competition and cutthroat capitalism. It's hard to ignore how traits once deemed manipulative or self-serving have found fertile ground to flourish. Late-stage capitalism, with its hyper-competitive ethos, rewards those who can outmaneuver others. It's no wonder that Machiavellian traits, ranging from strategic deceit to cold pragmatism, have become a topic of growing interest in psychology and neuroscience. But let's pause here. Being strategic doesn't automatically mean crossing ethical lines. That's what today's deep dive is all about, understanding when and how to embody Machiavellian tendencies without losing your moral compass. It's not a simple matter of right or wrong, but a balancing act where context and intent become crucial. Niccolò Machiavelli's legacy often gets boiled down to one thing: manipulation. But his work was far more nuanced. His emphasis on pragmatic leadership came from observing the chaos of 16th century Italy. To him, survival often required tough choices, and those choices weren't always good in a traditional sense. While his ideas have been labeled cynical, they've endured because they reveal uncomfortable truths about human nature. In our era, neuroscientists like Carla Hornsky explore how these traits manifest in modern environments. They find that the pressure to succeed can push people to adopt manipulative behaviors as survival strategies. Yet, this isn't inherently pathological. Here's where the line gets drawn. When strategic thinking becomes a way of life and ethical considerations fall by the wayside, we veer into dangerous territory. Psychologists often discuss this shift using the dark triad framework, which includes Machiavellianism, narcissism, and psychopathy. While a sprinkle of Machiavellian cunning might help you navigate office politics, unchecked traits can spiral into what's known as Machiavellian personality disorder, a pathological state characterized by chronic deceit, exploitation, and an absence of empathy. The Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders distinguishes between personality traits and disorders. Traits are fluid and situational, while disorders represent a rigid, maladaptive pattern that disrupts lives. It's like the difference between bending in the wind and breaking under its weight. Researchers, including Marco Del Giudice, have argued that this line is blurry, complicating how we define and treat personality disorders. Take the example of a mid-level manager. By building alliances, managing perceptions, and influencing outcomes, they might climb the corporate ladder using Machiavellian tactics. But their strategy, when bounded by ethics, could benefit not just them, but their organization as well. Now contrast that with a CEO driven by pathological Machiavellianism, leaving a trail of unethical practices, legal disputes, and a demoralized workforce. One operates within limits, while the other bulldozes through them. So, how do we navigate this murky territory? Evolutionary psychology offers a clue. Margot Gudd and others suggest that traits like Machiavellianism aren't inherently bad. They're adaptive responses to specific environments. In volatile or competitive settings, these traits can be lifesavers. But when overused or expressed in extremes, they lead to dysfunction, both personally and societally. The key lies in discretion. Strategic thinking isn't the enemy. It's a tool. But tools can build or destroy depending on how they're wielded. When you approach situations with a blend of cunning and conscience, you align ambition with integrity. It's about knowing when to act and, just as importantly, when to hold back. In the end, the question isn't whether you should think strategically. It's how you can do so without sacrificing your ethical core. The modern world doesn't demand that you choose between morality and success. It asks that you find a way to integrate the two. So as you navigate the complexities of today's hyper-competitive landscape, remember that true mastery lies not just in outsmarting others, but in staying true to the principles that make your victories meaningful. And with that, keep questioning, keep learning, and never stop refining your path forward.